My wife went to a girls' trip in Miami. A week later, her best friend sent a drunk text. I still can't believe you hooked up with that guy. When my wife came home, I waited until she unpacked. Then, casually, I said, "How was Miami? And tell me, how was he?" Her face turned pale as I showed her the screenshot. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. I never thought I'd be here. I've been lurking for a while, but now, I just need to talk. I'm 38M, wife is 36 female. We've been married for 6 years, together for 9. No kids. We live in Tampa, Florida. I work in logistics, she works in interior design. We've had the usual relationship problems over the years, money stress, in-laws, some dry spells, but we always talk things out. Or I thought we did. About 3 weeks ago, Sarah, not her real name, told me she was going on a girls' trip to Miami. Just her and her best friend Jessica, also not her real name. I wasn't surprised. Sarah and Jess go on little getaways a couple of times a year. Sometimes it's just a spa weekend or a beach town, but this time it was Miami. They wanted sun, drinks, and dancing. Her words. I didn't feel weird about it. I trusted her. I had no reason not to. They left on a Thursday morning. She kissed me goodbye, told me not to burn the house down while she was gone. She looked happy, excited. I was genuinely glad she was getting a break. She works hard. She's been stressed lately with some clients. I figured a few days in Miami might be good for her. While she was gone, we texted back and forth. Not constantly, but enough. She sent pics, her and Jess by the hotel pool, drinks with little umbrellas, some club with flashing lights in the background. The usual stuff. I'd respond with "looks fun" or "glad you're enjoying yourself." She told me she missed me, said she couldn't wait to be home again. She came back Sunday evening. I picked her up from the airport. She was tired but smiling. Gave me a hug, kissed me. Everything seemed normal. We got home. She dropped her suitcase by the door and said she'd unpack later. She showered and went straight to bed. I joined her, just happy to have her back. I didn't suspect a thing. Not until a week later. It was a Friday night. I was sitting on the couch watching a Lightning game. She was in the bedroom, on her phone. I got up to grab a drink from the kitchen, and my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jessica. Now here's the thing. Jess never texts me. Like, ever. We're friendly, but we're not close. So when I saw her name pop up, I was surprised. I opened it. I still can't believe you hooked up with that guy. That's all it said. One sentence. No emojis. No context. No follow-up. I stared at it for a full minute, trying to process what I was looking at. My stomach dropped. My hands started shaking. I knew, that wasn't meant for me. I didn't reply. I just sat there in silence, rereading the message over and over. She was talking about Sarah. There was no doubt in my mind. That guy, hooked up? It didn't take much to figure out what it meant. I didn't confront her right away. I waited. She came out of the bedroom a few minutes later, smiling, asking if I wanted to watch something together. I said I was tired. She didn't push it. All weekend, I acted normal. I needed time to think. I needed to calm down. But mostly, I wanted to see if she'd bring it up on her own. She didn't. So on Sunday evening, a full week after she got back from Miami, I made my move. She was unpacking her suitcase, finally. I stood in the doorway, leaning on the frame, watching her fold clothes. I asked casually, "So, how was Miami?" She looked up, smiled. "It was great. Super fun. Weather was perfect." I nodded. "Cool. And tell me, how was he?" Her face changed instantly. Just drained of color. Eyes wide. Mouth slightly open like she couldn't breathe. Like I'd slapped her. She said nothing. I pulled out my phone, brought up the screenshot, and held it up without a word. She stared at it. Then she sat down on the bed, hard, head in her hands. And then the floodgates opened. She admitted everything. They went out clubbing Friday night. She got drunk. Some guy started dancing with her. Said he was from New York. He bought her drinks. They talked. They flirted. Jessica went back to the hotel early, apparently. Sarah stayed. One thing led to another. They ended up at his hotel. She swore it was only once. She kept saying it was a mistake, that she didn't even know his last name, that she was drunk and stupid and didn't mean to hurt me. She kept repeating that over and over like it made a difference. I just stood there, numb. I couldn't look at her. I walked out of the room and sat on the porch for about an hour. I didn't even smoke, but I wanted to. She didn't come after me. When I finally walked back in, she was sitting on the floor, crying. Quietly. No big sobs, just tears. The kind of crying you can't control. I asked her why. Why? Why now? She said she didn't know. She said she felt trapped lately, like she was stuck in a loop. Wake up, work, sleep, repeat. Said she felt like she needed to feel something. That the trip made her feel free, alive, like her old self again. I asked if she wanted out. She said no. She said she loves me. That she wants to fix this. That she's sorry. She begged me not to leave. She offered to do therapy, to go to church with me again, to cut off Jessica completely. She said it was the worst mistake of her life. I still haven't told anyone. Not friends. Not family. Not even my brother. It's just sitting inside me like a rock. I don't know what to do next. She's been on her best behavior since that night. Cooking dinner, cleaning, leaving little notes around the house. But I see it in her eyes. She's scared. And I'm still angry. Not yelling angry. Just hollow angry. She says she wants to earn my trust back. But I don't even know if that's possible. I keep thinking about that hotel room in Miami. About him. About what they did. How she came home and looked me in the eye like nothing happened. Slept beside me like nothing had changed. And I think, if Jessica hadn't messed up and sent that message to me by mistake, I would have never known. That's what kills me. I didn't expect the first post to blow up the way it did. Thanks to everyone who commented, messaged, or just listened. I read everything. Some of it helped. Some of it stung. But I needed all of it. Here's the thing. I thought I had the full story. I was wrong. After she confessed, Sarah and I didn't talk about it much. We kind of danced around it for the next few days. She acted like she was waiting for me to tell her what I wanted to do. And I was doing what I always do, trying to keep things calm. Trying to think before reacting. But I couldn't shake this feeling in my gut. Something wasn't adding up. It wasn't just the cheating. It was the way she talked about it. How she kept calling it a mistake. Like it was a one-time accident. Like she tripped and fell into some guy's hotel bed. That didn't sit right with me. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I went through her phone. I waited until she was in the shower, and I picked it up. She'd never changed her passcode. My hands were sweating so bad I almost dropped it. At first, I didn't see much. She had already deleted her texts with Jessica. Probably the guy's number too. No photos, no saved messages. Nothing in WhatsApp either. But I remembered something someone said in a comment. Check the email. So I opened her Gmail. That's when I found it. A reservation confirmation. For a different hotel. Not the one she told me they stayed at. Not the one in the Instagram stories. This one was for Saturday night, not Friday. A totally different hotel in South Beach. A room booked for 2 guests. I just sat there staring at the screen. My heart was racing. My mouth was dry. I felt sick. She told me it was one night. Friday. One mistake. One guy. But why book another hotel the next night? I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing. But I had to. So I waited. When she got out of the shower, I asked her again, flat out, "Are you sure it was only that one night?" She froze. Didn't say a word at first. Then she started crying again. Not the quiet kind this time. This was loud, messy sobbing. She fell to the floor like her knees gave out. I didn't touch her. She finally admitted it. It wasn't one night. It wasn't one guy. It started with that guy at the club on Friday. But she met another guy at the beach the next day. They talked. She lied and said she was single. They ended up going for drinks that night. She booked a different hotel so Jessica wouldn't find out. And yeah, they slept together too. I felt my whole body go cold. She kept saying she was sorry, that she was spiraling, that she didn't recognize herself, that she felt like she was trying to destroy everything good in her life and didn't know why. She said she wanted to tell me, but she was scared I'd leave her. I couldn't even speak. I left the house. I drove for hours. No destination. Just driving. I ended up in Clearwater Beach, sitting on a bench watching the waves crash in the dark. I sat there till my phone died. I didn't care. The next morning, I came back home. She was still there, sitting on the couch, eyes red, still crying. I told her I needed space. She agreed. She packed a bag and went to stay with her sister in Sarasota. That was 3 days ago. Now I'm sitting in this quiet house, surrounded by all the memories we built, and I don't even know who I'm married to anymore. And just when I thought that was the worst of it, I got another twist. Jessica called me. She never calls me. She said she felt guilty and wanted to clear her conscience. That what happened in Miami wasn't some random accident. Sarah had been talking about getting her spark back for months. Said she wanted to feel wanted again. Jessica swore she didn't know things would go that far. But yeah, she knew Sarah was flirting with guys before the trip even started. Here's the worst part. Sarah had been DMing one of those guys for weeks before the trip. They planned to meet in Miami. It wasn't random. It wasn't a mistake. It was planned. She planned to cheat on me. And now, I don't even know where to go from here. Should I confront her with all of it? Should I talk to a lawyer? Should I even try to fix something this broken? I thought the hardest part was hearing she cheated. Now I'm realizing the hardest part is knowing it wasn't just one weak moment. It was a choice, a full-on plan. And now I'm stuck trying to figure out if this is the end. So, if you haven't read my previous posts, short recap. Wife, Sarah, went to Miami with her best friend, Jessica. I got a drunk text from Jess a week later. I still can't believe you hooked up with that guy. I confronted Sarah. She admitted to cheating. First it was one night. Then I found more. Different hotel. Different guy. She confessed it was 2 nights, 2 men. Then I found out it was planned. She had been messaging one of the guys for weeks before the trip. She even booked a separate hotel to sleep with him. That's where I left off. Since then, Sarah's been staying at her sister's place in Sarasota. I've been at home, mostly silent, just trying to think. I haven't replied to her messages. Haven't answered her calls. I've been sleeping in the guest room because our bedroom feels like poison. I decided I needed to know everything. All of it. Not just what she was willing to confess. Not just what slipped through by accident. Everything. So I did something else I never thought I'd do. I met with Jessica. I asked her to talk. Just the 2 of us. She agreed. We met at a coffee place halfway between Tampa and Sarasota. Neutral ground. It was tense at first, but once I told her I knew Sarah planned the cheating, she relaxed a little. That's when she dropped the next bomb. Sarah's guy from the beach? He wasn't a stranger. He was an ex. Yeah. Apparently, Sarah reconnected with an old boyfriend on Instagram. Someone she dated before we met. Long-distance thing back then. Jess said she started talking to him again a couple months ago. He lives in NYC now, and get this, he flew down to meet her in Miami. On purpose. It wasn't random. It wasn't chance. It was a reunion. A dirty, secret little romantic weekend with her ex. She lied about it being a fling with some stranger she met in a club. It was planned. It was him. I couldn't believe it. This was a guy she told me years ago she had no real feelings for. Someone she barely remembers. Yet here he was, flying down to South Beach to hook up with my wife in a hotel she booked with my money. I asked Jessica why she was telling me all this now. She said she felt sick about being dragged into it. That she didn't want to be part of the lie. She said Sarah promised it would be just fun and flirty stuff. That she wasn't going to actually do anything. But once the guy showed up, Sarah ghosted Jess for most of the trip. Jessica didn't want to cover for her anymore. So, yeah, I've been married to someone who's been emotionally cheating for months and physically cheating for at least that weekend. And it wasn't an oops I was drunk mistake. It was a planned meet-up with her ex. I still haven't told Sarah I know this. I haven't even looked at her. I'm not sure I can. And just when I thought I'd reached my limit, there was one more twist. This morning, I went through our shared credit card statement. I needed to see how far back the lies went. There was a charge from 2 months ago to a fancy little boutique hotel in Orlando. Not Miami. Orlando. I stared at it for a while. The date was a Tuesday. A random weekday when she told me she was visiting a client up there. But the hotel wasn't near the client's office. It was in the entertainment district. Near clubs. Bars. I called the hotel, pretending to be her assistant. Asked if she had stayed there. The lady on the phone confirmed it. 2 nights. Checked in alone. Room booked under her name, but for 2 guests. I couldn't even breathe. She didn't just cheat in Miami. She didn't just lie about that trip. There were others. This has been going on longer than I thought. How long has she been doing this? How many lies? How many hotels? How many men? She's been living a double life, and I had no clue. I don't know what hurts more, the fact that she cheated, or that she's been treating our whole marriage like a side project while she played out some fantasy life on the weekends. I haven't confronted her yet. I don't know how, but I will. And I'll post again when I do. After I found the Orlando hotel receipt, I knew I couldn't wait anymore. The lies were too deep. I wasn't just a betrayed husband. I was a complete stranger in my own marriage. I was living in a house built on sand. I decided I was going to confront her. I didn't want it to be private. I wanted witnesses. Not out of spite, but because I needed the truth to live outside of just me and her. I didn't want her to twist it again. I didn't want her to cry her way into another half-truth. So I called her and said I wanted to talk. I invited her to meet me at her sister's house. I told her I wanted Jessica there too. Her sister, Amy, was home that night, so it would be all four of us. She agreed. We sat in Amy's living room. The air felt thick. No one said much at first. Sarah looked nervous. She was dressed nice, like she thought dressing up would soften what she did. She sat across from me on the edge of the couch, fidgeting with her hands. Amy was in the kitchen pretending to tidy, but really she was listening. Jessica sat to the side, arms crossed, face pale. I started it. I asked Sarah again, one last time, if there was anything else she wanted to tell me about Miami. She hesitated. Then she started with the same script. It was a mistake. I was lost. I didn't mean to hurt you. I only did it because I felt neglected. I let her go on. Then I pulled out a folder. Inside were printed screenshots of the hotel receipts. One from Miami, one from Orlando. I slid them across the table. Then I pulled up the saved messages between her and the ex, the Instagram DMs Jessica sent me after breaking down and forwarding them all. That's when I said it. I know about the guy in Miami. I know he wasn't some random hookup. I know he flew down to meet you. I know you planned it for weeks. And I know about the trip to Orlando. That wasn't business. That wasn't clients. That was another lie. She went white. Not just pale. White. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I looked right at her and asked, "How long have you been cheating on me?" Dead silence. Jessica spoke first. "You should tell him. All of it." Sarah started crying. This time it wasn't loud. Just slow, wet tears rolling down her cheeks. She whispered, "Over a year." Amy gasped from the kitchen. A year. 12 months. For seasons. A full calendar of pretending. I stood up. "Were you ever going to tell me? Or were you just going to let me sit there like an idiot while you kept doing it?" She started shaking. She said, "I didn't know how to stop. I hated myself. I hated lying, but every time I came home to you, I felt even worse. And then I just kept going." Jessica looked away. Amy looked like she was going to cry too. Sarah stood up, tried to reach for me. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "You don't get to touch me now." And then something snapped inside her. She dropped the tears, dropped the guilt. She yelled, "I wasn't happy. I was losing myself in this marriage. You never saw me. You just wanted your little perfect life." And there it was. Not guilt. Just blame. She needed it to be my fault. I said, "You could have told me. We could have fought. We could have tried. But you didn't want honesty. You wanted control. You wanted excitement without consequences." Jessica stood up. "I'm done. I can't defend you anymore." She walked out. Amy just sat down and buried her face in her hands. Sarah was still standing there, angry now. But it was empty anger. Hollow. She looked like a balloon someone had popped in slow motion. I told her I wanted a divorce. She didn't argue. We filed papers 2 weeks later. No drama. No court fights. We don't have kids, and everything else was split without much noise. The house is mine. Her name was never on the deed. She moved in with Amy temporarily, but last I heard, she got her own place near downtown. She sent one last text a few days ago. "I'll always regret what I did. I hope one day you find peace." "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. Jessica and I haven't talked since. I don't blame her anymore, but I don't want reminders either. Amy sent me a message saying she's sorry and that I didn't deserve this. That meant something, even though it doesn't change anything. Some nights are rough. I sit alone in that too quiet house, looking at old photos I should probably throw away. I wonder how I missed it, how I ignored the signs. But other nights, I breathe easier. The lies are gone. The double life is over. I can sleep again. I learned a lot about people and myself. I learned that love isn't always enough. That trust once broken doesn't come back clean. And that sometimes, walking away doesn't mean you gave up. It means you finally stood up. I'm not ready to date again. I don't know when I will be. But I'm healing. I'm not hopeful. Not yet. But I'm no longer hopeless either.